Well, guys, this is a pretty deranged and decrepit story. It kind of makes a shiver go up my spine. Not a pleasant one. I have to admit that for quite some time, I have felt optimism about this situation, thinking that one of the internet's worst figures, one of the worst people to gain prominence, wealth, and power through the internet in recent years, was going to see some real karmatic justice. That being Andrew and Tristan Tate, the Tate brothers. They were outed as having sex trafficked countless women, including minors. This has been so thoroughly exposed even before the court appearances and his conviction that is imminent, that everyone knows. There is no dispute about it. Everyone knows it's true. Yeah, it's alleged, but we all know. We know. Come on. We've seen what's come out. We've seen the wiretap leak stuff and whatnot, but well, guys, Andrew Tate and his brother, who are well on their way to possibly near life sentences in prison in Romania, well, Donald Trump has waved his hand of power, and as you can see from the big beaming smile on Andrew Tate's face as he is escorted by Romanian police out of his home, Donald Trump has given the Tate brothers a full ride into America to escape Romanian law. The Tate brothers have gotten away with it. Not only that, but they're back in America, and they're going to be back to political activity. They're going to be all out there, big and active again, getting their faces out there, being loud and influential, but here in America, while Trump is president. He's going to be in the White House. He is going straight from from jail and charges for sex trafficking to now he is in Florida. He is currently in Florida, yes. Of course, that's where they wanted to go. They wanted to go straight to Florida. That's AI, no way that's real. Nope, this is completely real. The Tate brothers have escaped full legal consequences. There's no chance they ever go to prison. They got completely away with it. And they're both in Florida right now after being personally signed off on and freed by Trump. Donald Trump used his weight and forced Romania to let them come to America, and they've now escaped all consequences. That's why he's smiling and winking at the camera there. That's right, guys. Not only can you make your living online these days being a professional rapist, but you'll get away with all of it as long as you're conservative. This is what I'm talking about when I say, why would you ever be a progressive content creator when you could just be Andrew Tate? You can be as evil as you want, make as much money as physically possible, and get away with everything. It's like that. Why would you be a progressive? You know what I mean? In all seriousness, it's Jesus Christ. What a case of the worst people having the best things happen to them once again. That is basically going to be the theme of the next 4 years, by the way. Trump helps alleged sex trafficker Andrew Tate cross border into U.S. Lobbying to return Andrew Tate to the U.S. reveals the hollowness of the Republican Party's anti-sex trafficking campaign. The Republican Party is obsessed with sex trafficking, grooming, and pedophilia. For years, the GOP has built its brand on a bizarre, often conspiratorial fixation with sex trafficking, invoking this trafficking panic to justify border militarization and its assault on LGBTQ+ adults and children. And yet, when an actual accused rapist and alleged human trafficker comes along, Republicans rush to his defense and lobby to bring him back to the United States. President Donald Trump's administration has successfully lobbied to bring Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan back to the U.S. from Romania, where Tate faces charges of human trafficking, sexual misconduct, and money laundering. American officials first brought up Tate's case in a call with the Romanian government last week. At an international conference, Trump's special envoy, Richard Gurnell, pressed Romanian authorities to lift travel restrictions on the self-described misogynist influencer. The Financial Times reported. Tate, a former professional kickboxer and avid Trump supporter, has used his massive social media following to spread his reactionary politics and violent hatred of women, influencing a generation of boys and young men by preying on their insecurities and promising quick riches through affiliate marketing schemes, which all enrich him the most. Prosecutors in Romania allege that Tate and his brother set up a criminal enterprise and used it to sexually exploit multiple people. Despite these serious allegations, Republican figures and influencers have repeatedly defended Tate. Former Representative Matt Gaetz, Republican from Florida, who has been investigated for sex trafficking himself, previously offered support to Tate, saying that the charges always seemed, quote, suspect. Former Fox News host Tucker Carlson traveled to Romania for a softball interview with Tate, allowing the influencer to portray himself as a family man who is merely a victim of, quote, the Matrix and the mainstream media. Allegations of sexual harassment and assault are no longer a line that can't be crossed in conservative politics. Trump himself has been repeatedly accused of sexual assault and harassment, found liable by a jury of sexual abuse, and notoriously had a close friendship with the serial sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, who, by the way, the Epstein files came out today. Trump is on him. Who would have thought? That will get its own segment, don't worry. But we all knew this. On top of that, Trump was publicly accused of raping a 13-year-old girl who had to withdraw the allegations after harassment from Trump supporters, so yeah, there's that too. Despite a sex trafficking probe that closed without charges, Gaetz took the stage for a speech at the Republican National Convention. And when former Republican Speaker of the House, Dennis Hastert, pleaded guilty to trying to pay off men he had sexually abused as a high school wrestling coach, prominent Republicans, including 3 former congressmen, supported him enough to write letters in defense of his character to a federal judge. Parentheses, to be clear, the Democratic Party is also guilty of downplaying or defending abusers within its own ranks. This is not a partisan problem. To be clear, guys, always remember, no matter how bad the Republicans are, the Democrats are just as bad. They totally are, guys. We're not being biased. We're not being biased. But the GOP's embrace of Tate and other sex criminals on the right reveals the hollowness of the Republican Party's anti-sex trafficking campaign. Trafficking is not a real issue for Republican lawmakers. It's a rhetorical weapon used to advance draconian crackdowns, delegitimize political opponents, and launch broader attacks on progressive and feminist movements. If they were serious about fighting trafficking, then they would focus instead on labor protections and expanding social safety net services for the most vulnerable populations. You know, the groups of people whose vulnerability is taken advantage of by sex traffickers in order to do human trafficking. Even Florida Governor Ron DeSantis sought to distance himself from the Tate brothers, saying that Florida is not a place where they are welcome. And yet, they are there. I don't know how it came to this, DeSantis said. We are not involved. We are not notified. Or we're not notified. I found out through the media. Bro thinks that Trump gives a fuck about informing him? As Republican politicians continue their fixation on the supposed trafficking epidemic, demanding border crackdowns and pretending to be champions for exploited children, remember where their loyalties lie. They will lobby for Andrew Tate before they ever lift a finger for an actual victim. Well, they'll lift a finger to abuse an actual victim, but yeah. For the Trump administration, trafficking is not a crisis to solve, it's a crisis to exploit. Yeah. The Tate brothers got away with it. There's literally nothing else to say about it. And there have been some of like, man. You know who's actually done some of the best videos breaking down what the Tate brothers have done? Willie Mac Show. Willie Mac Show has cooked.
Earlier this
is one of his most recent videos, deep diving on the info, because he reads like the documentation and everything. He goes deep on it and whatnot. And so like the stuff that not even mainstream media has really picked up on, because it's like buried in the Romanian investigation documents, he talks about here. And there is some disgusting shit that they were investigating him for and finding evidence for, and that he had confessed to. I don't know how much of this I'm going to show, but here's like a peek at the shit that Trump just gave Tate a get-out-of-jail-free card for.
This week, we got to view the charges levied against Andrew Tate and compared to the evidence that was already publicly available. And what we found was him self-snitching for hours on end, selling an online course for how to traffic women for hundreds of dollars.
That teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me.
To be clear, he very publicly confessed to all these crimes dozens of times. He was fucked. His only saving grace was Trump doing this, and Trump did it. Like, justice was going to come. Karma was going to fulfill itself. The Tate brothers were going to rot in prison for the crimes that they had bragged about committing, and Trump has reached over the law, picked up Andrew Tate, picked him up, moved him past it, and just set him down in a safe spot where he can just continue doing this shit.
How I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me.
And then once when he was arrested in late 2022, he started hiding the evidence, lying in interviews.
You have said, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
No, I've never said that.
And even going as far as hiding pages and removing his website from the Wayback Machine. I'm not one who normally agrees with Sneeko, but I might this one time.
I've always said this on my stream. If they hide it, then it's the truth. If they have to delete it, then it's the truth.
Then Sneeko agrees with me. This guy is guilty. All of this information is available in my previous video, so if you're out of the loop, that's the place to catch up. And now even more charges have been levied against the Tate in the form of money laundering and trafficking minors. And guess what? He is 100% guilty. How do I know this? Because he won't stop self-snitching. It's all over his $337 course on running a webcam business. So let's start with the new charges.
Willie Mack's videos are really good.
Investigation of organized crime and terrorism has now brought 3 more charges to the Tates. That being crimes of money laundering, favoring the perpetrator, influencing statements, and trafficking minors. Now this was translated from Romanian, so I want to address the translation error. Google Translate.
Full-on child sex traffickers. Donald Trump has just brought some of the richest, most influential, successful child sex traffickers back into our country to influence more young boys to emulate them.
It converts the statement to, this case was ordered to be dismissed when it comes to these new charges. Tate fans have been proudly spewing this all over the internet, but that's simply not true. It's just that the specific Romanian word doesn't have a direct translation from Romanian to English, so it incorrectly translates to dismissed. This is a common legal phrase used in Romania for when the prosecution is trying to separately investigate and charge the individual, instead of resolving it together in a single case. This phrase is used in Romanian court all the time. Feel free to look it up yourself. But the charges are coming, and Andrew Tate is definitely guilty of at least one of those things, that being trafficking minors. Or as far as Andrew admits, one minor, that being Tate's bottom bitch, Vivian.
Your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for a nice dinner, your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl. My first girl was so good, it was easy.
He's describing right now how sex traffickers use women to legitimize themselves in order to get women to trust them and become future victims. They have to find what they call a bottom bitch, which is a woman that they that manipulates through them, because a lot of women see a guy in a relationship as a positive evaluation. Pimps have known this for decades and use this, take advantage of this, and they find like a really, generally like a really pretty girl to be their like fake girlfriend who's like, yeah, I'm so happy with him, and they try to lover boy more women into some kind of polycule situation, and then the like pimping out for money starts. But that's how this method that he does works. It is a crime called the lover boy method of sex trafficking. It is known, it is specifically broken down step by step as a crime, and he literally he charged for courses in where he taught people how to do it.
Easy. And your whole business has to be built off the back of your bottom bitch. So if you have a girl in mind and you're already fucking her, picture her.
Vivian, along with one other woman, is also being charged in this case because she was playing a key role in trafficking these girls to Romania.
You do when you're in my situation where you have a girlfriend of 6 years and you try and bring a new girl in. You actually have to downplay your relationship with the girl of 6 years, which is difficult. And I only get away with that because the girl of 6 years plays along. So Vivian's been with me 6 years. Vivian's been with me 6 years, 6 years.
Remember this. He's been dating Vivian for 6 years.
She's completely head over heels in love with me. She wants kids with me, everything. And we met and we fell, whatever, we're in love. But when a new girl comes, she'll go, oh yeah, I started off working for him and it's just how it worked out. She'll super downplay us so that the new girl feels like, oh, well, they're just kind of working sex and now I'm here and he likes me. And she can believe in her mind that she can be equal. But that's basically how it works. I've got my main bitch, my bottom bitch, Vivian.
But when Tate first pulled her into this business, it turns out she was young, like very young. In this course from 2019, Tate explains how Vivian was his first girl that he's been with for 6 years when he first started the webcam business.
So yeah, that's how it started. I met Vivian in Slovakia. We had a long-term relationship thing. I was living in England. I moved her to England to be with me to start doing my webcam company, which I started. And you try and bring a new girl in.
For those that don't know, he's a passport bro. He has kind of started this generation of young men who they save up their money for like a year. And they buy tickets to a third world country generally, where the exchange rate of USD to the local currency is very favorable for someone who has USD, where like your money can go real far. They go there, They flaunt their wealth. They have sex with lots of women. It's just sex tourism. And Andrew Tate has basically pioneered this movement of young men called passport bros, who are literally just the new tech bro, crypto millionaire, Tate follower generation of sex tourists. And this is their like answer to feminism destroying the West, is to go to like third world countries and basically coerce women into sleeping with them. Yep, I've seen these guys a lot here. Oh yeah, the Philippines is a big target for passport bros. The passport bros love the Philippines. They love Thailand. They love, there are a good like handful of African countries they'll go to sometimes. They really love Brazil, and just a lot of South America they'll go to. Like anywhere where they can get like a lot of something for a penny, like US penny or whatever, like however much they can get a favorable exchange rate, where they'll be extremely wealthy compared to the average person. There'll be plenty of women that'll be willing to sleep with them, and that's their way. It's being like some wealthy foreign tourist and to try and like lay pipe overseas. That's what they try to do. They mostly pick up rural girls here. They literally go for the poorest of the poor. Yeah, knocked. They do. Yeah, literally the poorest of the poor.
You actually have to downplay your relationship with the girl of 6 years. When I bring on new girls, I usually pair them with Vivian. Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28, Vivian's like 21.
Do the math on that one. That means Vivian was only 15 years old when Tate brought her in the webcam business. That's not even the age of consent, let alone for the creation of pornography. So 10 years ago, he would have been 26 with a 15-year-old. His words, not mine. He put this on the internet. It boggles my mind that somebody could be this stupid.
And on top of that, Donald Trump was accused, and I think 2016, 2017, so this is back in like 2016, 2017, a woman accused Trump anonymously and pressed charges against Trump anonymously. She did not want her name to be public, but was pressing criminal charges or filing charges against Trump with the claim that when she was 13 years old, Donald Trump and another guy raped her. Do you want to guess who the other guy was? Jeffrey Epstein. Back in 2016, she pressed charges against Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, claiming that they raped her when she was 13. And then her identity, I think, was found out, and the media pressured her, so, like, right-wing media pressured her into withdrawing her charges and going back into anonymity. I don't understand why my ethnicity of women are so over-sexualized by incels. Which one? Cute Bunny Chan? Oh, Latin America? I don't know. There's a lot of stereotypes about Latin American women that not even conservatives, just like Americans repeat. Like it's not even a race thing. It's just like an American culture thing. So yeah, that's probably what it is. Anyway, basically what I wanted to point out here is that if you're someone who actually has no tolerance for child predators, there is way too much evidence for these people being child predators for anyone who actually has a problem with child predators to make excuses for them or to not find this concerning or worth looking into. And yet, Donald Trump's accusations, I hardly ever hear. I'm the only person I've heard bring these accusations up in the last 4 years. And then on top of that, Andrew Tate has now been helped by this guy. Alongside all of that, you've got Matt Gaetz, who's not too different from those two himself. The Republican Party is made up of open sex pests, sex criminals. And their go-to response to avoid and dodge criticism for their weird-ass behavior, their criminal behavior, is to just get out in front of it and relentlessly call the left what they are, so that when they get outed as being that, at least they've built up this buffer of accusing the left so much that people almost psychologically think that there are examples, like copious examples or data that backs it up, or that idea aligns with reality. They just repeat it until it becomes people's truth in their mind. Anyway, with that said, what a horrific story. It really does just sicken me down to the core, Kind of makes my spine shiver, like Hank Hill when he goes, whoa! You know what I mean? Not a fan of this story. To be honest, not a fan. I don't know what you guys think of all this. I imagine it's nothing positive, but let me know down below in the comment section. Every single comment boosts the channel immensely. It really does help a lot, as do likes, whether you're watching live or when this goes up as its own video. Please hit that thumbs up button and like and comment. It means so much, and it really does help. And on top of that, if you want to subscribe and ring the bell icon and turn on all notifications so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos, that would mean so much and really would help a lot. And of course, finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and the roof above my head here at the Xander Hall Studio, then you can donate, subscribe, or gift a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.